broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Great to have you here. David Newman reporting for duty, high fee sales. That is the name of the game. All right, little pre-party shenanigans here. If you can see my smiling face there on the screen and the amazing, cool orange and blue high fee sales infographic there, I'd love you to type an affirmative answer in the question box, but don't use the word yes. Use any other word except yes, to let me know that you can hear and see everything loud, clear, crisp, fun. Let's see where we're at here. So, excellent. We got, oh yeah, affirmative, bingo, amen. Loud and clear, done, you betcha, looking good, David. Plenty crisp, plenty crispy, and affirmative and solid. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, we got quite the collection of rock stars here. I love when all kinds of cool people show up here. Amy's here, Ashley, Bill, Carol, good to see you. Craig, the International Man of Mystery, Darren, good to see you, my friend. Let's see, David Andrews, Diane, Ellen, great to see you as well. Eric, Frank, good to see you, buddy. Greg with 2 G's, Helena, Jackie, Jake, John, the other John, lots of Johns, holy smokes. John Carney, John Kiernan, great to see you all. John Svensson, sounds very Swedish. Kip is here, Linda Ann, Marcia, 2 Marks, 1 Matt. Melissa, great to see you. Wow, very cool. Michael, a whole bunch of Michaels as well. Great to see each and every one of you. Phil, Randy, Rich, Rob, Sandra, great to see you. You're going to love this. Skip is here. Man, old school. I like it. We go way back, Skip and I. Tom, Tim, 2 Toms. Thule, great to see you. Travis, Valerie, awesome. And Tom, the bald dog, is also here. He knows what I'm talking about. That's the name of his choosing, not mine. I would be the chubby dog. If I had a name now, nickname in the middle of this COVID craziness, it would not be bald dog, although I'm also bald. Chubby dog would be my nickname. All right. Well, I am so excited. We're going to have so much fun. I have packed so much into this masterclass training. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. I'm going to move my little windows over here. Whoops, did I screw that up already? I probably did. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Fantastic. Here we go. All right. The reason you're here, I'm guessing, is because of this word. Ugh. Sales and selling. So, see if some of this sounds familiar. I'd rather get a root canal than spend another minute selling, pitching, and peddling my stuff. Cold calling and being a desperate spammer? No thanks. Old school high pressure sales tactics don't work for me. Don't worry, they don't work for me either, and I really don't like those. Sales seems so random. Sometimes it just happens, and sometimes it doesn't. And then the real question, isn't there a more systematic way to market and sell? So one of those or something else is on your agenda for today. I'm going to share my agenda for today, but right now in the question box, I would love to find out from you, what do you want to get out of today's masterclass? In either keywords, short phrases, what aspect of sales and selling do you want to get better at? And pop that in the question box. My guess is that we're going to have something here for everyone, but I want to hear it in your own words. What would be the very best outcome 90 minutes from now? We have an action-packed masterclass all set for you. what do you want to learn? What do you want to change? What do you want to improve in your own sales repertoire, your own set of sales and selling skills? And I'm going to go to the question box and I want to find out what you came here to learn. All right, these are all fantastic. Lead gen, says John, systematic plan, list building, converting more leads into sales, how to drive more sales of an online course, sales funnel, hi Chip, nice to see you. Shell, great to see you. Converting a couple of prospects into big clients, I love that. Helena says more highly qualified leads. Sean says shorten the sales cycle. Sandra says fearless prospecting. Terrence says I love learning from the master. Extra bonus points. Thank you, my friend. Be able to gain more clients through selling my product. Oh, I love this. Linda Ann says a more heartfelt way to sell. Carol says better leads. Darren is languaging and strategy, sales languaging, sales strategy. Steve says more customer connects and responses. Bradley says how to better qualify leads. Elaine says this is new, so I'm learning from scratch. Excellent, no bad habits then. Effective prospecting, says Brian. Results with a $ in the middle S. Starting from zero to hero, says Tim Prentice. Great to see you here. Michael says dealing with objections. Rick says how an introvert can make connections and get leads. I love that. Joe Swinger, great to see you. Take action on creating business generating income activities. Wayne says the process. Tom says reducing the rate of vanishing buyers. We're totally going to cover all of these things. This is great. Ashley says how to keep the inner motivation up and maintain it. Building connections. Roberta says what to say on a cold call. Hint, hint, don't make cold calls. We're going to talk about that. And Dell says, whatever you have to offer, baby. I love it. So we got some sponges. We got some clean slates. We got, hey, whatever you can help me with in sales is awesome. And we have some very specific requests. I love it. So here is the situation you might be in, or the questions that you may be asking, or you just ran into this webinar at random on the interwebs and who knows why you're here. But hopefully this is you. There's so many new ways to reach clients. Should I be using social media, email, webinars, blogs, video? What's the system? What's the answer? I'm tired of being the best kept secret in my industry. What can I do to change that? How can I make prospects come looking for me rather than me chasing them? And I feel like I have enough leads. Why aren't I closing more sales? So here's our game plan. We're going to talk about the source of some sales and selling confusion. Then we're going to dig deep into prospecting mistakes, follow-up mistakes, pricing mistakes, and closing mistakes, and how to fix all 5 of those situations, and some next steps to help you make it happen. And we're also doing a Q&A, except the Q&A this time is different. The Q&A is going to be a sales challenge. So any challenging sales situation that you have, I'm going to invite you to hang till the end. Give me the thorniest, stickiest, trickiest sales problem that you've run into in the last month or two, and we're going to unpack it in light of today's teaching. So not your traditional Q&A, not your mom and dad's Q&A. You're getting the high fee sales Q&A. And I'm also going to do my ethical bribe. This time it's going to be a little bit of a sales toolkit for you. So for the folks that hang out till the bitter end, I call this your endurance bonus. You are going to get some cool gifts that will help you operationalize some of today's training. Okay, back into the question box, scale of 0 to 100. This is what we talked about, 0 to hero. Sucky versus awesome. And yes, I'm using very technical, high-tech language here. A 0 is a sales disaster, meaning you have no tools, no system, no process for selling. You hate selling. It's demotivating. It's sad. You want to do everything but sales. Hey, can't someone just sell for me? Can't someone just take this off my plate? A 100, on the other hand, is consistent sales tools, system, and a process. You love selling. You find it energizing and fun. You actually hate to stop sales activity. It's like, oh, it's time to stop. I want to keep going. And talking to prospects is the best. I don't think anyone here is totally a zero, and we may have a couple of people in the high 90s. Maybe we have a 100 in here, but where would you put yourself? Type a number in the question box from 0 to 100, and let's do a little group diagnostic here. Some people are in the 20s, some people are 50 plus, some people might be in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it is. Let's see where we're starting out. And then 90 minutes from now, I want to add at least 20 points. If I can't add 20 points for you in the next 90 minutes, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But let's see what the numbers say. Like they say on Family Feud, survey says 15, 50, 50, two 50s back to back, Joe and Tim, 88, 70 or 75, 65, 60 says Lara, 70 says Frank, 70 says Valerie, John Kiernan is a 60, Amanda's an 80, Darren's an 85, Tuli's an 80, Rachel is a 2. Well, at least you're not a 0. Let's see if we can get that up to 22 by the end here. Brian is 75, Marty's 10, Helen is a 10, Job is 12, Claude is 65, Wayne is a 70, Tom is a 90, because of course Tom teaches sales and selling. Tom is awesome. Lenann's 25, Linda Ann is 40, Kalella's an 86%. Did I read that right? 86%. Extremely precise. I love that. Carol's a 65, Michael is a 65. Robert says 0 with an asterisk, startup, about to start. Rick is a 40, Doreen, Travis, both 25. John is a BAM. Very nice. Very, very nice. I love BAM. BAM is a great numerical answer. I like the creative thinkers here in the group. You guys are great. All right. Here's the good and the bad and the ugly in my sales career. I started out my business, as some of you know, back in 2002. I started a consulting and a training business. I thought my job was consulting and training. True or false? Drop a T or an F into the chat, into the question box, if you think that little David Newman back in 2002, starting out as an entrepreneurial consultant, entrepreneurial trainer, was my job actually consulting training? Say T if it's true or F if it's false. I think you guys know where this is going. I think you do. I think you do. You do. F, 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 F. Lots of Fs. So you are correct. All of our jobs as professional experts is not the consulting or the coaching or the training or the speaking or the online courses. It is selling the coaching, the training, the speaking, the consulting, the online courses. That is our job. We get to do the fun stuff. We get to do the coaching, training, speaking, consulting, online courses, and so forth. So I was terrible at prospecting, and I couldn't close a door. It was so bad. I think back now, and it was embarrassing. Perhaps the most embarrassing thing was I didn't even seek help. I thought either this was how it's supposed to be, so learned helplessness, or I thought I could figure it out on my own. And I was wrong. I was really wrong. So 3+ years, from 2002 to 2005, really 3 years of needless struggle and financial instability. Because I said to myself, you know, some people have the sales gene and some people don't. And I just must be missing that sales DNA. So I was blaming myself, but also not helping myself. Does that make sense? I was blaming myself for not enough sales skills, mindset, tool set, skill set, but at the same time, I wasn't doing anything to improve. So that's pretty bad. All right, let's talk about probably the biggest psychological barrier to all of this. This is Exhibit A, and this is, of course, a terrible salesperson. The typical used car lot salesperson. When you think of this person, just in the question box right now, without overthinking it, Give me some words that describe this terrible used car type of salesperson. What does this guy make you think of? And let's go to having a little mousing problem here. Here we go. So terrible salesperson, this is the person that probably did more damage to your sales mojo than anything else, is because we were sold to badly. And we think that's what sales is about. So let's get to some words here. Sleazy, pushy, shyster, sleazy, slimy, gonna screw me over, slime, no trust, smarmy, snake oil salesman, questionable, sketchy, scummy, annoying, plays games, greaseball, oily salesman. Great picture though, thank you, John Carney. Fast talker, sleazy, untrustworthy, pushy, aggressive, not professional, sleazy. All right, the jury's in, thank you so much. Let's go to an awesome salesperson. Let's go to someone where you've had a fantastic sales experience, someone who you think really is a great salesperson and provides a great client or customer experience. Same exercise, pop into the chat. What are some traits and characteristics of a truly, genuinely good salesperson? How do they make you feel? What words, what adjectives come to mind when you're thinking of a really great salesperson? Someone who is really more there to help you than to help herself. Listener, service, understands me. Listener again, smart, professional, knowledgeable, charming, another smart, friendly, approachable, beautiful and great listener. Okay, yes, well, I think we all have our inner beauty. Beautiful and great listener. Listener again, genuine, supportive, consultant and problem solver, professional, competent, empathy, knew what I needed, consultative, supportive, partner, professional, confident, empathetic. All right, that is what I'm talking about, my friends. We are going to make you into salesperson B and not salesperson A. We've all had so much psychological trauma from bad salespeople who are doing things to us and with us that we really don't enjoy. But this is the vibration I want you to feel. And this is the lens through which I'd like you to have top of mind as we go through some of today's strategic and tactical training. All right, let me get that out of the way. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. Again, I refuse to stay focused on money-making activity and sales for the very same reasons that you just listed in the bad salesperson. I would get so easily distracted, I would rather do anything other than sell. I chased every shiny object that did not lead to sales. I allowed minor sales obstacles to become reasons to walk away, get discouraged, throw in the towel, and just give up on selling. What that meant was, not only did I lose big money with some of the deals that I had in front of me, I didn't even pursue sales, and I lost even more revenue with the potential of sales that I never even opened the door, never even did the outreach, never even did the prospecting. Basically hiding under my desk, waiting for leads or deals or referrals to fall into my lap. So think about the 5 stages of the sales process. Number 1, I don't know where to begin. Number 2, I need more prospects to talk to. Number 3, you've got plenty of prospects to talk to, but you're not getting to that second meeting or that second conversation, so you need more follow-up. I need to charge and earn more, which is a sales negotiating problem, or I need more commitment. I need to close more of the deals I'm currently working on. So if your problem is 1, type begin in the question box. If it's 2, type prospects. I highlighted the word in green here. So if you're stuck on need to fill the pipeline, top of the funnel, put prospects. Need to get more follow-ups, put follow-up. Need to charge and earn more money, just throw some dollar signs in there. And then put the word close if you are really great until the very end, until the finish line, where we just got to close more of the deals that you're working on. Because this is going to help you diagnose, as we go through these 5 sets of mistakes and problems and fixes and solutions, that's going to help you focus in on where you need the most help and where you need the most work. So we've got lots of 1s and 2s. We've got some closes. We've got some prospects, beginning, 3 and 5. John says 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 equals 15. Love that. Lots of prospecting. Okay, that's good. We're going to give you a lot of help with prospecting, so that's good. 1, prospects, 3 and 5. 2 and 3 says Doreen. Ashley says prospects and follow up. 1 and 5 says Brian. Claude says 2. Okay, so pretty much across the board, but a lot in the 1, 2, and 3 area. Very interesting. Quite a bit in the 1s, 2s, and 3s. So let's talk about why you're confused and stuck. I would be confused and stuck too. You have to use LinkedIn for prospecting. Oh, no, wait, it's all about cold calling. What? You're not using speaking to generate leads, virtual speaking? Come on, hang on. Networking. Yes, of course, I got to do more networking. What was I thinking? Wait, it's really about live streaming video. That's how to generate leads. No, hang on. You got to do it with webinars. I know, it's all about webinar. My friends, it's not any one of these things. So this vortex of conflicted advice where you have to do this and you should do that and you got to do this and so is having great success over here, that is not going to help you. We need to find something organic. We need to find something that you find easy, effortless, and enjoyable. And we need to find something that your prospects will want to engage with. So the moment that you stop focusing on selling and start talking about buying facilitation, think about that term. You are here to facilitate the buying process. You're not here to push or peddle or strive or pitch. In fact, lose those words out of your vocabulary because they're not serving you. And it leads to some confusion. Our COO, the amazing Charlie Posnack, sent me this image. We were having a little back and forth conversation. And I just love this confused bunny so much. I wanted to put confused prospecting bunny into this webinar just for you and just for Charlie. So this is confused prospecting bunny. And he just doesn't know what's what. It's like, wait a minute. You got to be kidding me. I can't do all of that. I don't like doing all of that. And most of that doesn't even make sense for me. Most of that doesn't even make sense for me. So let's unpack the 4 levels of marketing. There's strategy, there's tactics, there's initiatives, and there's action steps. So let's say someone tells you at a networking meeting on Zoom, you know what? It's all about LinkedIn. If you're not using LinkedIn, you're totally missing out. Well, let's break that down according to this pyramid. The strategy that LinkedIn is under is internet marketing. The tactic, the set of tactics, is social media. The initiative is to start using a specific social media platform like LinkedIn. And then the action step that could actually move onto your calendar is identify 10 great prospects on LinkedIn by Friday. Notice the structure of that action step. I said you can move it onto your calendar. You can move it onto your calendar because the format of it is verb, noun, date. The more that you embrace verb, noun, date action planning, the better and faster results you will get from all of your sales activity. Verb, noun, date. Let me go back here. Identify 10 great prospects on LinkedIn by Friday. Identify is the verb. 10 great prospects is the noun. By Friday is the date, right? Reach out to those 10 great prospects with a value first message by Monday. Reach out is the verb, value-based message is the noun, by Monday is the date. Please embrace verb, noun, date action planning. It will make your sales to-do list get shorter instead of get longer because you can now move things directly onto your calendar and sales will start to get done. You will start to activate a proactive outbound sales pipeline of intelligent prospecting activity. Ray Engen came through our program. His success story is here. $16,200 check and PayPal in hand. He got $4,200 from one program, $12,000 from another. The thing I love about Ray's success story is he got into massive intelligent action, and neither of those 2 programs existed when he was paid for them. So there is something to be said for be a professional problem solver, solve the client's problem, then come up with the solution later. Sell it first, create it later. We're all natural creators, and we love creating these big programs and speeches and consulting packages and online courses, and we have no idea who's going to buy it or if people are going to buy it. If you sell it first and then build it, you will have a lot more sales success. In all of our coaching and mentoring programs, one of the mantras that we teach early on is go before you're ready. And Ray did a beautiful sales job of going before he was ready to the tune of $16,200 in about a month's time. Prospecting mistakes. Not enough prospecting activity, which includes zero prospecting activity, which, yes, that's not enough. Spray and pray marketing and lead generation, meaning everyone's a prospect, which really means no one's a prospect. No idea how to open the first 10 seconds on the phone or by email or LinkedIn or Zoom. Voicemail, email, video email, LinkedIn. Wow, what do I use? How do I start? And then no clue what to say and send to open the door. So if I handed you a strategic door opening campaign with perfectly curated prospects, you would be so far ahead. And because you perfectly curated this list based on who they are, what they want, what they need, and some situational awareness of your prospect, you would not need to wonder, what do I say or what do I send? The prospecting would almost take care of itself because you're approaching them. I'll show you an example of this. I'll show you a couple of examples of this actually. The prospecting messaging would take care of itself. Random prospecting, it's very tough to come up with a compelling door opening campaign if everyone's a prospect and you're using spray and pray techniques. So let's talk about the two kinds of buyers. I think there's a pretty even split here, but I want to find out. Because people say, well, David, will this work selling to companies? Because I only sell to companies. Or David, will this work if I sell to individuals? Because I only sell to individuals. So in the chat, type in the word corporate if you're involved in a corporate sale and you want to get better at corporate sales. Type in the word individual if you're doing individual sales, meaning selling to individual people, right? Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, individuals, B2C, if you will. Or type in the word both if your business is such that you sell both to corporate buyers and to individual buyers. So 3 options in the question box right now. Corporate, if you're focused on corporate sales and a corporate door opening campaign. Individual, if you're after individual people that you sell to and who buy from you. Or both. Some people obviously sell to both. And let's see what the jury says. Like on Family Feud, survey says individual. So Valerie and Marty are our individuals. Lenan, Michael, Carol. Wow, lots of corporates. I'm trying to pull out the individuals first. Ashley's individual. Travis is individual, maybe a little bit corporate. Dell, Joe, Linda Ann, Kalela, fantastic. Let's go back to our corporate people. Corporate sale is Sean and John and Frank and John Carney and John Colby and Chip and man, these are flying by fast. Thank you for playing. Dan Orlando says corporate. Valerie and Brenda say both. Brian says corporate. Michelle says both. Where's the rest of my corporate people? Here we go. Elizabeth and Doreen and Steve Smith and Roberta and Marcia does corporate and association. Sandra says mostly sell to individuals. Claude says both. And Brian says the check is corporate, but the sale is always an individual. Correct. I mean, obviously, we all sell to humans, right? We all sell to humans, Brian. So that's a great point. Excellent. Okay. Now, pop quiz. Pop quiz right here. Are they different? Yes or no? Do you think they're different? Just throw a Y or an N. Are they different? Yes or no? And then while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you 2 questions at once because I know it's a sharp group. So we got some yeses, some nos. Are they different? Yes or no? Second one, which one do you think is easier? Type C if you think the corporate sale is easier. Type the letter I if you think the individual sale is easier. I'd love to see this one. This one's a big, big controversy. Are people just people? Which one is easier? Are they different? Do you handle them differently in your sales process? Wow, interesting. Very nice. So the overwhelming opinion here is that they are different. And then we've got lots of individual sellers, and I'm going to say the individual sellers probably 2/3, and the corporate sellers about 1/3. Although maybe a little bit, maybe it's a little bit more balanced. I'm going to go 60/40. I'm going to go 60/40 after scanning the chat window there. All right, so they are different. They are different, but they're not that different. And you know which one is easier? The one that you're more comfortable with. Surprise answer. The one that you're more comfortable with. So what's the answer to make the other one easier? Get more comfortable with it. Understand how it works. Understand what to do, what not to do, what to say, what to send at every step of the sales, marketing, and business development process, and they will both become easier for you. They will both become easier for you. John Ramstead came through our program. First big sale. Using your talking points, I just got my first $25,000 this week. Client gave me $5,000 last meeting. We'll pay the balance when we start our program next week. Muchas gracias, David. So the first one is the hardest one, right? Once you've cracked the nut, once you understand how it works, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And then it's just a matter of practice and repetition and reinforcement and a little bit of coaching and a little bit of adjustment based on who you're talking to and what problems you're solving for that buyer. All right, let's talk about some prospecting truths. It is not a numbers game, my friends. You hear this all the time. I think that is complete nonsense. It is not the quantity, it is the quality. You got to segment your leads into hot, warm, and cold. What makes a cold lead warm? Relevance. What makes a cold lead warm? Research. What makes a cold lead warm? Knowing what they're up against and then showing up on their doorstep as a trusted advisor, not as a peddler or a pitch person. So what does that mean? The research step means that you're going to qualify your leads. You're not going to guess. You're not going to have suspects in your pipeline. And you're going to engage each prospect with 2 or 3 different communication vehicles. You're not going to rely on just email. You're not going to rely on just LinkedIn. You're not going to rely on just phone. You're not going to rely on just sending short little videos. When you do that, you become annoying. You become a one-dimensional seller as opposed to a real human being. So there is no one right prospecting process. It depends on you. It depends on your personality, your preferences, your strengths, and what kind of buyer you're trying to reach out to, and what are their heartaches, headaches, problems, challenges, etc., that you are approaching them to help them solve. I look at the prospecting process as an invitation process, and it's an invitation to a conversation about how you can help them. Write that down somewhere. It's an invitation to a conversation about how you can help them. It is not pitchy, pushy, peddler, vendor status. It is not buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Remember, we're reframing sales as buying facilitation. So if it's buying facilitation, guess what? Not all buyers buy the same way. Not all buyers have the same personality. Not all buyers have the same priorities. And not all buyers have the same preferred communication channels. So there is no one right prospecting process. That idea is dead. That idea is old school. Don't do it that way. It doesn't work. Trying to force fit every prospect into a rigid lockstep system is not going to be appealing to them. So the best approach is, like I just said, you come on the radar as a trusted advisor. Value first via authority marketing. One of the most powerful strategies that we teach and preach to all of our clients in most of our programs is interviews as a marketing strategy. And I'm going to give you a gift right now. I'm going to give you this one-page guide to start doing prospecting a much smarter way. Bust open a fresh tab, go to giftfromdavid.com, giftfromdavid.com, and you will get my one-page guide that's going to make you a better prospector this afternoon. It's going to make you a more effective, trusted advisor. It's going to let you do a door opening campaign via authority marketing, not via spam, not via being a nuisance. So go to giftfromdavid.com. Type in the chat. If you guys are going there, I'd love to hear in the chat. Make sure that link is working. Are you getting that interviews as a marketing strategy PDF? When you bust open a new tab and do giftfromdavid.com. So yes, yes, yes. Working, says Chip. Helena says working. Dan got it. John says link worked. Nancy says yes. Perfect. I will trust the 5 of you. And Robert King, who also said yes. I will trust the 6 of you that we set that up the right way. So thank you. I cannot emphasize how valuable that is. I cannot emphasize how valuable that is. It's going to change your prospecting approach from here on to the rest of your professional career. Now, where do you look for good prospects? Find the best companies list, the best companies to work for, the best companies in this industry, the best companies in that industry. The other thing to think about is scan your regular business media. So look at your business journal, look at the business section of your major metropolitan newspaper, see what's happening. Look at trigger events. Trigger events are things like downsizing, upsizing, promotions, awards that people won. These are the movers and shakers in the industry that you're targeting. Newsjacking works because newsjacking is immediate, current. That CEO or that business owner or that entrepreneur is going through something right now. If what you do and what you sell can help them, they will want to talk to you, but you got to capture them at the right moment. You got to capture them at the right moment. Neil Dunsmore came through our program. And the group that he was in, I said, folks, you are not going to find clients by sitting alone in your office staring in your lap. And I gave him this advice, and he said, okay, Newman, I'm going to take you up on it. And he's looking in the business journal, in the business section of his major metropolitan newspaper, found this company who's taking a beating for some union conflict, some union negotiations that have gone awry. And he says, wow, this poor guy, I sent their CEO an email at 9:05 a.m. He responded at 9:07 a.m. And then the next line is my favorite. We met, had coffee, and 1 week later, a $35K conflict coaching contract was signed. So let's be clear what happened here with Neil. Stone cold stranger. This guy had no experience of Neil at all until getting that email one morning at 9:05 a.m. He had an immediately relevant message, says, hey, it looks like you're going through some pretty bad stuff. I saw the story in the paper, would be happy to chat with you about some ideas that might be helpful. 9:07 response, a week later, $35,000 conflict coaching contract. So was that a cold call? Was that a warm call? Was that a smart call? Or was that intelligent prospecting using newsjacking as the trigger event? It was intelligent prospecting using newsjacking as the trigger event. So let's talk about email. Here's your email rules of the road. Email prospecting, which a lot of people screw up. And I've seen all kinds of horrible email. I get pitched probably 3-4 times a day, probably you do too, about all kinds of crazy nonsense that we have no need for and no reason to even think about. Engaging subject line and first sentence, 4 to 6 sentences total. Super short emails get responded to, other emails get deleted. So literally 4 to 6 sentences, 2 to 3 paragraphs at the most, no attachments, no images, and a clear call to action. That's the rules. And then the objective of the email is to get them into a conversation. Remember, prospecting, what is it? Invitation to a conversation about how you can help them. Write that down, make a poster in your office, make a bumper sticker, invitation to a conversation about how you can help them. So you have to have some direct call to action. Let me give you an exact example. Subject line, my prospect's name is Ron. Ron is the head of a biotech engineering department at a target company. Ron, shortage of engineering talent. New numbers show fewer biotech engineers looking for work in the fourth quarter, forecasted to be even worse in 21. As you expand into the Midwest, hint, hint, research, newsjacking, as you expand into the Midwest, this could be a serious recruiting problem. I'm Jane Jones. I help companies like yours solve the engineering recruiting issue and have information I'd be happy to share with you. Ron, I'm looking forward to sharing with you the information other engineering leaders have found helpful. You can call me at 610-555-1212 or hop on my calendar at, and you drop in your calendar link or your scheduling link. Acuity or Schedule Once or Calendly or whatever it is that you use. Do you see how this meets all the criteria? Immediately relevant, well-researched, helpful, offering a conversation, actually offering an invitation to a conversation about how Jane can help Ron. This is how it's done, my friends. This is how it's done. Does it take 10 or 15 minutes of research per prospect? It does. But you want to come across as a trusted advisor with this kind of email or a spammy, irrelevant goofball email like everybody else sends? You probably want to do it this way. So my buddy Dwayne Huff came through one of our programs a few years ago now, actually. And he says, David, I used that email. It may have just landed me a $60,000 to $70,000 contract in less than a week of sales cycle to boot. I have a handshake and verbal agreement. I'm just formalizing the contract and sending them the paperwork today. So the well-researched email, it lands. The well-researched email, it works. The well-researched email shows that you are 95% head and shoulders above all the other cold calling spammers that don't bother to do the 15 minutes of proactive targeted research that it takes to come on someone's radar as a trusted authority. Not as a seller, not as a vendor, not as a peddler, but as a trusted authority. Let's talk about some sales horror stories where this doesn't happen. Nightmare prospects. Here's some typical sales rejection. I have to think about it, can't afford it, sounds great, just not for us. Well, maybe we'll do this next year. Yeah, we're going a different direction. Type in the word yes if you've had that experience from your initial prospecting efforts. Type in the word yes if you've had this experience. I mean, maybe I'm alone. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I know I've had that way, way too often early in my career. So if I'm not alone, let's see who's with me on getting that kind of immediate rejection, immediate smackdown right out of the gate. So Nancy, Marty, Bart, Kalella, Brian, Valerie, Robert, Michael, Elaine, Chip, Brenda, Wendy, Rick, John, Linda Ann, Dell, Ashley, Amanda, and Lewis. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not alone. Now, here's the problem. Even when you manage to close that sale, even when you're hired, these same nightmare prospects, they don't see the value, push back on your fees, they nickel and dime everything. They don't do the work, they don't show up for coaching calls or consulting appointments, they don't implement, and they don't get results. Big shock. It's amazing the results you do not get from the work you do not do. If you've had that experience of the wrong client saying yes, type in the word oi, as my people say. Type in the word oi if you've just brought on the wrong client. I tell people in the sales process, don't be afraid of the right clients saying no. Be afraid of the wrong clients saying yes, or the wrong prospects, I should say. Don't be afraid of the right prospect saying no. Be afraid of the wrong prospect saying yes, because that's what, let's go back to this, that's what you're going to get when the wrong prospects say yes, and these folks make your life miserable. So let's see if we have some oys in the question box here. And again, Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Okay, not just me. So we have lots of O's from Nancy, Linan, Brenda, Amanda, Dell. Kalila has lots of O's on that Oi. John Carney has given me the full Oy vey. Thank you. Wendy's given me 3 Oys. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, lots of exclamation points from Marty and Rick. You got it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I've got my tribe here doing all kinds of fun things here in in Yiddish. Okay, yes, 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 yes. So this is what we need to avoid, and your sales process needs to filter those people out. So please remember this. True sales effectiveness is not a convincing and persuading activity. It is a filtering and sorting activity. No convincing, no persuading. It is filtering and sorting, because you want the high fee clients. You do not want the goofball clients. Now, the flip side of this, let's break down the logic, right? Low fee equates with low value. So low level of respect from the client, low expectation of success, low effort, and thus low results. Clients like that, the ones I said we should prevent from them doing business with us, exhausting and depressing. When you get into high fee sales and you have your filtering and sorting radar tuned the right way, and you're saying and sending the right things at every step and stage of the sales process, high fee equates with high value in that buyer's mind. They give you a high level of respect, high level of expectation that your program or service is going to be awesome, high level of effort to maximize that, high results on their part, and those are your success stories. Those are your big wins. Those are your favorite clients, energizing and profitable. Jen Kronberger did something like this. She says, just closed the 6-figure deal with the hospital. The thing I love about Jen has an unstoppable appetite for sales. And this was only a few weeks ago. This was literally a few weeks ago in the middle of COVID crazy. So if that's the other thought that's in the back of your mind, well, no one's buying these big consulting gigs during COVID, you are 1,000% wrong. Solve bigger problems, get bigger checks. Jen solves big problems, big leadership and culture problems at large organizations. So just close the 6-figure deal with the hospital. Here's the part I love the most. They were the ones that said, with the option to renew it, please, because they knew they needed more help. They knew they needed more help. And the way that Jen positioned her programs and services, it was the high fee sale, high value, high expectation. They were already looking forward to renewing before they started. Think about what that sales positioning would do for you. They were looking forward to renewing even before she started. That's what you want. That is that's an A+ filtering and sorting job from the amazing Jen Kronberger. Now, new monthly sales goal. I want you to start thinking big and thinking bigger and better and stronger. If you had a daily plan to connect with exact right prospects, if you knew what to say and send at every step of the sales process, if you could close clients reliably with no fear, no hesitation, no doubt, I want you to commit right now in the question box, realistically, honestly, no BS, how much do you think you could sell each month of your current set of products, services, and programs? Speaking, virtual speaking, obviously now, consulting, coaching, online courses, training, facilitation, CEO roundtables, masterminds. I know everyone here has a different business model, different suite of professional services that you sell, different level of distribution method for your expertise. But exact right prospects, you knew what to say and send, you had no problem with the closing step, honestly, no nonsense. How much do you think you could sell each month? Put a dollar figure in the question box. I would love to know what your new monthly sales goal is. What's that new monthly number? If we solve this whole sales thing, we solve this whole sales craziness, We got your sales muscles built up and conditioned where it fits your personality, your strengths, your preferences. You show up as a trusted authority, not as a peddler. You become really good at inviting prospects to a conversation about how you can help them. And basically, we're in the buyer facilitation business now. You're not even closing them, they're closing themselves. Buyer facilitation means they choose to buy. We're not pushing, we're not putting them in a headlock, we're not strong arming them. What's your new monthly sales goal if that were true for you? So John says 25K per month, 20K per month, says Helena. 27K a month, says Kalela. 40K, says Carol. 17,400, says Tim, because Tim and I worked on his exact number. I love that. And there's Dwayne himself, 10K per month. I love it. Brian, 2 to 5 new customers. Yes. Joe says 10K per month. Nancy says 5 to 9. Amanda says 10K. Marcia says 50 to 75K per month. Valerie's at 10K. Claude's at 10K. The other Valerie Edgman, says 40K extra. 15K, 30K, says John Colby. 50K, says Robert King. 20K, says Doreen. 15K, says Wayne. 20K Canadian pesos, says Wendy. Love that. Chip says 30K. Michael says 12. Rick says 20. Roberta also says 20. Brenda says 40 to 50K. Ashley is 24,000. Amanda's 250K corporate per month. Wow, that's exciting. Tony is 50K. Katie's 25. Diane's 20. And Lara says maybe 20. Maybe 20. I'll let you go down to 15, Lara, if you want. Any increase is priceless, says Dan Orlando. Thank you. So this is, I hope you start to feel how possible this is and how within reach this is, because it really truly is. Especially now that you have the first step, you've got giftfromdavid.com, you've got that door opening, interviews as a marketing and prospecting strategy. It is totally possible. Totally possible. Here was my journey with this possibility thinking about 5 years ago. $57,000 came in September of 2015. I was pretty excited about that. October, we got up to 67, almost 68,000. November was the breakthrough year. The breakthrough month. First six-figure month ever in the history of my business, November of 2015. I was pinching myself. I had an out-of-body experience. I could not believe it. For the first time, this is back in August of 2015, first time ever, I had 6 figures sitting in the bank. Why do I have a screenshot from August of 2015? Because I couldn't believe it. I was staring at this going, what? How did this happen? I felt like I had entered crazy town, because once you unlock the sales ability that is in you, that's sitting in your chair right now, you can quantum leaps in your business. You can generate quantum leaps in your sales success. So this is an export from our shopping cart. These are the kinds of sales that we're doing. 12K, 10K, 9,500. These are not small sales. We're not selling tchotchkes. We're not selling courses for $400. We're not selling transactional. We're selling transformational coaching, mentoring, and consulting programs. So these are big sales, big chunks. 8 $12,000 sales is a $96,000 month. Can you make 8 sales a month? I know I can. You can make 8 sales a month. If you sold bigger things like 25K program, 50K, like some of the folks you've already seen, 25,000, 6-figure deals, 100,000, 200,000, 350,000, multi-year consulting contracts, do the math. Just do the math. I'm not going to hype on that. I'm not going to get all crazy on that, but do the math for what you're selling at your price points. Now, people say, okay, well, Newman, that's great. That was 2015. We're in the middle of COVID crazy. We're in a recession. Everything is horrible. This is an export from our shopping cart. It's the last 30 days. The last 30 days, October 17 to November 16, I took this screenshot last night, $176,000 in the last 30 days. What I want to really point out to you is the chart. Sales happen daily. In your business, sales need to happen daily. Some of these sales, as you see, are $30,000 sales. Some are 20, some are 15, some are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, depending on what we're selling, what we're promoting, who we're talking to. But this is right now. This isn't someday. This isn't in the good old days. This isn't 2019. This isn't 2017. This is right now in the middle of COVID crazy time, when you might be listening to a little voice in your head. I can't sell anything. We're 8 months into this pandemic. Everything is horrible. Nobody has money. The sky is falling. Not true. All these strategies work. And they work now more than ever because our clients and our prospects are having bigger problems now more than ever. Let's talk about follow-up. Not talking to the right people up front, big mistake. Not connecting with high probability buyers whom you know you can help. Pushing and striving, peddler and vendor positioning, we talked about that one. And zero value follow-up calls and zero value emails. That is a peddler. That is a nuisance. Here's the follow-up magic. Always lead off with the prospect's comments from the previous call. Ask a follow-up question to every comment that they make, meaning dig, probe, uncover, agitate, question, and challenge everything that you hear that prospect saying, so you can get to the issue behind the issue and the problem behind the problem. Here's another mantra that we teach. It's not a need or a pain until you hear it from them. So never assume and never put words in their mouth. Unless they said it was a problem, it's not a problem. And then never leave one call or one interaction without booking the next call or the next step. Pricing mistakes. This is easy to fall into. And this is where a lot of your negotiating problems come in the sales process. Discount first mentality. Please stop. How much should I discount this? 0. Unasked for discounts will kill your profit margin. Or prices that were too low to begin with. And no matter what you're selling, virtual keynote, speaking, training, coaching, consulting, online course, facilitation, masterminds, CEO roundtables, whatever it is that you sell, price is too low to begin with. We got to fix that. Caving on price too soon and too often, because the truth bomb here is nobody will value your products and services higher than you do. If you're immediately discounting first, how do you think they're going to feel? Pricing is a combination of mindset and confidence and talking about outcomes, not talking about your program. The moment we stop talking about our inputs and start talking about their outcomes, the entire price conversation starts to shift. The dynamics around that price conversation start to shift. Here are some takeaways for you. Always use 3-tier pricing. Good, better, best. Bronze, silver, gold. Tie money to time and speed, meaning what's the cost of not implementing? CONI, that acronym is cost of not implementing. Cost of not solving that problem. Get comfortable with the power of silence. Sometimes the most powerful things that will leave your mouth during a follow-up conversation are, wow, really? Dang, gosh. Let them talk. When you do those vocal gestures, those vocal prompts, they go deeper, they go further, they peel the onion for you. You don't need to be Barbara Walters and do this deep dive, investigative journalist conversation. You want to have a deep dive investigative journalist conversation, but they're also great at capitalizing on the power of silence. Ask more questions, stay in the conversation longer, and always tie back to their strategic priorities. That's exactly what Deb Rubin did. She sent me an email back in August. Subject line was BAM. Just won a $90K consulting project. And I said, woohoo, was this the new one where we were kicking around the visual proposal pieces? And she says, yes, phase one as fast as possible. And again, in the middle of COVID crazy upside down time. Oh, no one's buying $90,000 consulting projects. They are if they solve a problem. They are if they deliver an outcome. They are if what Deb talks about is not what she will do for them, but what she focuses on is what they will get. What they will get, where they will go, what they will become, what they will have at the end of the process. Those are outcomes. So could you win a 90K consulting project if you focused 100% on client outcomes? You could. And this isn't just an outlier, because a few weeks prior to this, she sends me this little Post-it note off of her desk that says, yay, 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 just closed another $30,000 virtual workshop series. Hashtag do it marketing, hashtag make awesome happen. So this becomes a pattern where each win fosters the next win. Each success leads to the next success, the bigger success, because you're flexing those sales muscles and you're conditioning yourself to sell at a much higher level to a much higher level prospect. And the high fee sales that happen, it's not about the price, it's about the value. And stop focusing on the price and you will get much higher prices every single time. Closing mistakes: not asking for the sale, not enforcing a clear next step on their calendar, waiting for them to make a decision. Yeah, we'll get back to you. Yeah, we'll circle back in a couple months. Yeah, we're gonna take this to the committee. We're gonna let you know what we think. Right? Just sitting around waiting, hoping, wishing, praying. Or the opposite end of that is using gimmicky old school closing techniques that cause discomfort to both you and to them. So please don't do that. Some truth bombs around closing. Closing problems are opening problems in disguise, meaning that you didn't dig deep enough. You didn't probe, you didn't uncover, you didn't illuminate what's really going on. Or, because we all want to be liked, we were too polite. We were too deferential. We took everything they said at face value and we kept it a very surface level conversation. Or you came on their radar with non-urgent, non-important positioning. They said, we'll get back to you, and they don't, or even worse, hey, send us a proposal, and you do. We call this premature proposal syndrome, sending a generic proposal before you have any idea of what they really want as an outcome, and that comes across as a weak level of relevance, a weak level of interpersonal rapport, and they have a weak level of respect for you. So you want to avoid those things at all costs. A few more quick tips. Strong, consistent sales is no accident. A proactive process is needed to put fresh targets on your radar daily. So having a system and having steps so that sales can happen daily is critical. And this is highly doable if you follow my formula of 25, 10, 4, 1. What does this mean? 25 prospect outreaches, highly curated, highly targeted, highly customized, 10 or 15 minutes of research on each one, that's all you need. 10 responses of some kind, and a response could be drop dead. A response could be no thanks. A response could be no, we're good. But out of those 10, you're going to have 4 serious prospects who raise their hand and accept your invitation to a conversation about how you can help them. And if you can close 25%, you will get 1 client. So think about this as 5 outreaches a day, 25 outreaches a week, 10 responses, 4 conversations leading to 1 sale. 4 conversations, 3 people say no to you, and 1 says yes. 20K program, 50K program, 100K consulting deal, whatever it is that you sell. Licensing, 25 seats to your online course, whatever you sell. So what this means for you is getting the price that you want without discounts. Having a consistent sales pipeline is going to eliminate fear and uncertainty for you. Knowing how to prevent buyer objections. Notice I didn't say overcome. I didn't say handle. I said prevent. That's really important. Speeds up your ability to close sales daily, and then being able to help more people and serve at a higher level. Because money lets you impact the world in bigger ways. So we're blessed. We've got $1 million plus business. Here it is by the numbers over the last 5 years. This isn't 1 year, this is 5 years. So nobody panic. But we've had 435 people in our mentoring programs over the last 5 years, 63 people in our awesome MBA and Platinum programs, 262 live-led course sales, and that's nice. That's income, that's revenue, that's great. This year, I will pay over $165,000 in income tax. I'm paying more in tax this year than I earned in the first 3 years of my business. Think about that. I am going to pay more in taxes this year than I earned in the first 3 years of my business when I couldn't sell to save my life. And what I'm most proud of is this middle number. 2020 donations to charitable causes, solving the world's problems, 75,000 plus. My goal was to hit 100. I think we're going to get there. Eventually, my goal is to do $1 million of charitable donations over the course of 1 calendar year. We're not there yet. We're far from it. It's okay. We're taking baby steps to get there. And I'm maxing out my 2020 IRA with $57,000, which is the legal maximum for 2020 for those of you that are playing along at home. So if you say, hey, you know what? It's not all about the money. I agree with you. It's not all about the money. But without the money, you can't do the good in the world that you were put here to do. You cannot help the people that you were meant to help. You cannot serve the people that you were meant to serve. And please remember, each of these 435 people in our mentoring programs, each and every one of our amazing 63 mastermind clients, some of whom are on this call, and you guys know that I love you, and I'm here to help you reach this goal or higher. And every single one of our 262 live-led course people, that's the impact. Charitable donations, sure, that's nice, that's important to me. That's something I want to give back to the world and the planet and the community that we all live in here. But it's about helping more people. And the mantra to remember is you cannot serve big if you sell small. Please write that down somewhere. You cannot serve big if you sell small. So I want you to sell big and serve big and do big, great things in the world. So caveat venditor, right? We all know the opposite of this, which is caveat emptor. That means buyer beware. Caveat venditor means seller beware. You can sell your time, but you can never buy it back. So who are you spending time with? Are you filtering and sorting? Are you having enjoyable, fun prospecting conversations with great people who work at great companies up to great things? And are you inviting them to enough conversations about how you can help them? Because here are some facts, my friends. You can't scale your business if you can't sell. You can't get someone to sell for you if you don't master sales yourself first. Sales is the #1 job for any CEO, any business owner. The better you are at client selection, the worse you can be at everything else. That's why that highly targeted prospecting conversation was so important. And the better your offer, the easier it is to sell in spite of yourself. And we've talked about this several times now. Focus on buying facilitation. Forget about sales. Focus on buying facilitation as the new sales process. I'm not sure why you personally showed up here today. Could be like me early on, you feel that you don't have the sales gene. You're tired of not winning the sales that you know you deserve. Maybe you want to protect your cash flow, start building more reliable revenue and get premium fees for your premium value. Or like me, deep down, you know that boosting your sales ability is the key to help you survive, sell more services to better clients, and thrive long term in our post-COVID-19 world that we will soon emerge into. So here's your decision. Information alone is not going to cut it. You need a system and accountability and mentoring. And you've got a choice, my friends. Life is always about choices. You can do it slowly using trial and error and some of what I shared today, or I'm going to invite you to do it quickly and apply for my high fee sales 8-week mentoring program. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes telling you about that. Then we're going to go into our Q&A sales lab, roll up our sleeves, dig into your exact sales challenges, obstacles, and questions. Here's what high fee sales is. It's going to take care of everything that we just talked about today. Help you build your sales muscles for every program and service that you sell. You're going to get sales power scripts that fit your own personality, strengths, and preferences. I mentioned how important that was. Create your high fee end-to-end sales process from initial contact to signed contract so that you can master sales conversations selling anything from $5,000 to $250,000 or more per contract, per deal, per client, per company. You're going to get my complete set of sales templates for things like emails, video scripts, Zoom calls, complete sales conversation roadmaps. You're getting everything end to end. I'm going to help you make your next batch of high fee sales. We're going to review your post-COVID-19 value prop and offer to make sure that that buying facilitation process makes sense and what you're doing is appealing and effective to the buyers that you're trying to reach. We're going to do door opening campaigns to help you get more conversations. The interviews as a marketing strategy is only one of about a half dozen different kinds of door opening campaigns that you're going to get. Live ammo feedback on your recorded sales calls. Detailed enrollment conversation coaching, role plays, and hot seats. And you're also getting our follow-up formula and the newsjacking toolkit. So you can do those trigger events and those newsjacking like we saw with Neil Dunsmore and a couple other of our clients. So that is all included in the high fee sales mentoring program. So we talked about corporate sales, we talked about individual sales. They are different. And you are going to get everything you need for how to open doors, build relationships, and close corporate sales. You're also going to get the alternate universe, the flip side of that, is individual sales, how to open doors, build relationship, and close solo sales if you sell to individuals. So the question you might be asking is, well, okay, I've had some sales training before. Information, inspiration, recommendation, that's great. That's not where you make money. Where you make money is in a program like this, where you and I are working on this in tandem, in real time, over the next 8 weeks to focus 100% on implementation and outcomes, because that is where the money is made. So it's 8 weeks of results. We're going to have a Facebook group. We're going to have a weekly live web conference with assignments, tasks, implementation. You also get unlimited, never stuck consulting with me via email. And most of our programs don't have that. This program does have that. You're getting real prospecting and selling assignments that will generate revenue even before the program is over. If you do the work, you will experience tangible improvement in your sales results even before the program is over, and that's guaranteed, and I'll tell you about the guarantees in a moment. So you get the corporate sales workshop, the individual sales workshop, the 8 weeks of accountability with me, with the weekly calls, action planning, unlimited consulting via email, $10,994. If you can close just one new $10,000 client, that would pay for itself. But I have other news. It's not $10,000. Here's what we're doing for you guys right now. On this webinar, for a limited time, it is $36.97. Payment plan is available. And if you're an alumni of our other programs, there is an alumni rate that is lower, and there's a payment plan on the alumni rate as well. You need to apply for this program. There's nothing to buy. You can't click. I'm not going to let you in until we have a conversation. So the place to go to apply is highfeesales.com. highfeesales.com. Why is there an application process? Because you should feel equally proud of what you sell as to who you sell it to. And we don't take everyone, and this program truly is not for everyone. You need to apply. I am filtering and sorting, my friends. I am modeling the steps for you. So when you go to highfeesales.com, you are going to get an application. You're going to get onto my calendar. I'll show you how that works in a second. Charles Scott came through our program. He says, I made $54,000 in the past month from the executive mentoring program I created. Again, new offer, new value proposition. He says, thank you for providing the tools, framework, and motivation for me to create an executive mentoring program that exceeded my most ambitious financial goals. So if you apply now, it starts with an application and a conversation with me. Schedule your time. I've got a couple of slots open this afternoon, wide open tomorrow, wide open the next day. Questionnaire. On the questionnaire, when you go to highfeesales.com, it's going to open up a type form. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Please be complete and as detailed as possible, so I really get to know your situation and we can hit the ground running during your decision call. The guarantees I mentioned. Number one, unconditional 30-day guarantee. If you don't love it, if you don't love me, if you don't like my haircut one day, if you don't like the color of my glasses, any reason whatsoever in the first 30 days, I will happily give you every penny back. I know you will love the program. I know you will get great results from the program. Starting in the first week or two, you might even make some sales in the first week or two, given what I'm going to share with you. So you have a 30-day unconditional, if you don't love everything about it, 100% money back guarantee. That's guarantee number one. There's a second guarantee that you will sell at least $10,000 worth of stuff, whatever it is you sell, coaching, consulting, and you saw some of the numbers from our past clients. You will earn at least $10,000, or we'll work with you until you do. So that's basically a 3x results guarantee. $36.97 on the front end, $10,000 of sales at a minimum. At a minimum, when you go to highfeesales.com, pop open that tab, get the application going. A couple of bonuses while we're talking. Bonus number one, deep dive to help you get focused fast. I can only do 5 of these. It's a personal one-on-one sales fast track session with me. That's a $1,000 value. That's for the first 5 applicants who pop over to highfeesales.com, do the application, hop on my calendar later this afternoon, tomorrow, the next day. For the first 5 applicants only who apply and then join High Fee Sales, I want to kick this off with a personal one-on-one. Just you and me working through your thorniest sales challenges, the sales opportunities that are on your desk right now, how to move the ball down the field, and or how to close some sales. So we're going to do this live ammo, you and me, fast track sales session with me, first 5 people when you go to highfeesales.com. So at this point, you're getting the corporate sales workshop, the individual sales workshop, the 8 weeks of accountability and mentoring with me, and the sales fast track. The total on that would be $11,994. As we said, you're not doing that. You're doing $36.97. There's an installment plan. We can talk about that when you book your decision call. There's also an alumni rate. We can talk about that when you book your decision call. Second bonus. Hey, can we work on my exact situation, my prospects, my offer, my closing? Yes. So for those who apply during this webinar and during our little mini sales lab Q&A, our sales problem solving session that's coming up, we're going to do an entire separate session. This is not part of the 8 weeks. This is extra, and it's called the Sales Lab. We're going to do role plays. We're going to do hot seats. We're going to work on your power scripts. We're going to talk about your newsjacking strategy. We're going to review your door opening campaign, edit it, fix it, tweak it in real time. We're going to talk about how you're following up and what you're following up with. And we're talking about the closing phase of your sales process, all done live, all done in real time, where you will leave with all of these things dialed in, tuned in, and ready to go. That's a $1,497 value. That's for the folks who apply during this webinar. Pop open a tab, go to highfeesales.com. And for those that apply and get invited to join high fee sales. You obviously don't get it if you just apply and then disappear, or we decide not to do the program. So for those who apply during this webinar and get invited to join high fee sales, you are getting the sales lab bonus. So now we're doing the corporate sales workshop, the individual sales workshop, the 8 weeks of mentoring and accountability with me. Bonus number 1 is the sales fast track session, you and me privately one-on-one. Sales lab live practice with role play, newsjacking, door opening review, follow-up review, and closing. So you leave with those tools in your toolkit by the time that day is done. And that's it. $13,491 is the grand total. You're not doing $13,491. You're doing $36.97. And again, payment plan on that is available to you. Alumni rate is available on that to you. Bob Leffler came through one of our programs. He says, I was doing a business model for my coaching business, which was working pretty great. Then I signed up for your course, and today was a typical day. I just got off the phone with a guy who gave me $2,000 of his money because I did exactly what you told me to do. So almost every day that happens to me now. So if anybody's thinking of not doing this, you'd be insane. You've got to not only do it, but you've got to implement everything David teaches, and you will be successful. And Bob experienced that firsthand. His sales took off like crazy. So here's what it looks like when you go to highfeesales.com. You're going to go to our type form questionnaire. It looks like this. You're going to click on the big old start button. Then once you complete that questionnaire, you're going to drop onto my calendar for our decision call. You're going to pick a date, pick a time. This form is going to open up here. You're going to put in high fee sales as the subject. Please put in high fee sales as the subject. Otherwise, I won't know what we're talking about. So put in high fee sales as the subject for our 30-minute decision call. Put in your name, email, phone, all that good stuff, and then click done. And then we will talk this afternoon. We will talk tomorrow. We will talk the next day, whatever fits for your schedule. I've totally cleared the deck, totally cleared the calendar, so I can help you make a good decision. The real question is, what happens tomorrow? On webinar days, everyone is super excited, super charged up. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. Let's go do this. But without the repetition, reinforcement, application, without that muscle building, without that conditioning, you are going to springboard back to where you were. All the old school sales and old school sales problems that were not serving you before. I don't want you to go backwards. I want you to go forwards. I want you to springboard into a very strong finish to 2020 and a breakthrough year 2021 with your new sales skills. So apply right now. The link again is highfeesales.com. Single payments $36.97. We've got the payment plan. We also have the alumni rate. You're going to get the fast track one-on-one with me. You're going to get the sales lab live practice working on all of your materials. Excuse me. Everything that you need to sell smarter all the way through the process, from initial contact to signed contract. And if you're not sure this fits your business, you're not sure if this is the right time, whatever it is, if you're not sure, apply anyway, and you and I will figure it out together on the phone. I'm doing a filtering and sorting process. I'm not doing a persuading and convincing process. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to strong arm you. I'm going to be in a buying facilitation conversation with you. So if you landed only one extra 10K client, the journey would be worth the trip. But I'm guessing that's not why you're signing up right now at High Fee Sales. What's even better is if you never had to worry about how to make revenue happen in your business, and you could close sales whenever you want. That's the sales superpower. That is what's going to elevate and escalate your business to be the business that you deserve. And probably the business that you envisioned when you first started your entrepreneurial journey. You didn't start this business to struggle, and you didn't start this business to beat your head against the sales brick wall day after day, week after week, year after year, like I did for 3 years. For 3 years, I beat my head against the sales brick wall. until I finally got a clue and said, I need to work on this. The struggle and the financial uncertainty stops today. So if you're still here and you haven't busted open that tab for high fee sales, there's nothing but excuses left. Let's talk about what they are. Program doesn't work. I just showed you a half dozen clients where the program worked. They're selling bigger and better than ever before, even during COVID crazy upside down time. So the program absolutely works. I can't afford it. You can't afford not to do it. You can't afford not to do it because of the double guarantee. Guarantee number one is you will love the program. You will get results from the program. If for any reason you don't like anything about it, you don't like the way it looks, tastes, or smells, you don't like my haircut one day, you don't like the color of my glasses, you're totally cool for 30 days, full refund for any reason or no reason at all. Number two is the results guarantee that you will earn $10,000 or we will work with you until you do. Final objection, it won't work for me. Well, if it won't work for you, I will tell you on our decision call before you get the chance to tell me. So this is why it's application only. We're only going to accept people into the program where we have a very strong likelihood of success for you. If you're not ready, if you don't have your stuff dialed in, if it's not something that's a priority for you, you're correct. It's not going to work for you. But that's not the kind of person that typically books a call, and that's not the kind of person I typically invite to join us. So that is it. You are getting the corporate sales workshop, the individual sales workshop, two sides of that coin, 8 weeks personally working with me, weekly calls, action planning, unlimited consulting via email, sales fast track one-on-one private session with me for the first 5 folks. Bonus 2 is the sales lab live practice with role play, getting your newsjacking tuned in, door opening campaign, follow-up toolkit, and closing strategies. Total program value $13,491. You're not doing $13,491, you're doing $36.97. Payment plans available on that, and alumni savings are available on that. So here's what to do now. We're about to roll up our sleeves here, do the hot seat sales lab kind of mini sales laboratory of bringing me your thorniest sales problems, questions, challenges, and you're going to apply at highfeesales.com. Questionnaire is going to open up. Answer the questionnaire as completely as you can. When you're done with the questionnaire, it's going to pop you directly onto my calendar for a decision call. We have some time here this afternoon. I think there's 2 spots, or there were 2 spots on my calendar this afternoon. We have lots of availability tomorrow and the next day. And now we are into our interactive Q&A, thorny sales challenges, thorny sales questions. Maybe it's a deal that you're working on right now. Maybe it's a deal that is stuck in your pipeline. Maybe it is a door opening campaign that you haven't launched yet. At any stage or phase of the sales process, from prospecting, following up, gaining commitment, fees and pricing, closing the deal, any of those things are 100% fair game. 100% fair game. If you just have a question about today's teaching, that's cool too. That's fine. Doesn't have to be deep, complex, thorny sales problem. But if you have a deep, complex, thorny sales problem and you want some help and some insights around that, I am here to help. So either questions or live ammo sales advice for a situation that you're working on right now. Who's got the first question? Pop these in the question box. We will address every little bit of this. I just have to get my mouse over into the question box like before. There we go. So we're going to pop out the questions. We're going to pop out all of this wonderfulness. And all right, I think we're good. I think we're good. Where'd my mouse go? All right. So yes, highfeesales.com is where to apply. The URL for someone's asking about the URL for the goodie. The URL for the goodie is simply gift from David. Gift from David. bestselling.com. And that's going to get you the interviews as a marketing strategy guide. So you have that as a new door opening prospecting strategy. And let me just, what is going on here? Oh, I see. Wow. Okay, there we go. For some reason it stopped the timer, but that's okay. All right, cool. I have to expand this window. Man, you guys are asking some long questions in here. All right. Get the price you want without discounts. So yes, so let's talk about that for a quick second. Let's even talk about the word negotiating, because a lot of people misunderstand that word negotiating. When I say negotiating, everyone thinks negotiate down. What no one understands is negotiating can also be negotiating up. Negotiating up. Increase the value, increase the impact, and increase the fee. So you never want to come across a client situation, whether you're selling to a company or selling to an individual, you never want to put a Band-Aid on a bleeding neck. So quick story. A friend of mine, Scott, here, is a sales trainer in the Philadelphia area. I got a lead. Somebody wanted a $5,000 speech. They were looking for a sales speaker. I said, did you go to my website? They said yes. Did you see the word sales anywhere on the website? They said no. I said, I'm a marketing speaker. Of course, I teach sales, but I really teach sales-driven marketing. So we're going to talk about some sales strategies, but there's also going to be a marketing aspect to it for lead generation, positioning, packaging, messaging, your offers, all the things that we're doing in high-fee sales, obviously. I said, so you just want straight up sales training for your team that sells some industrial product? Yes, great. Well, I'm not your guy. Call my friend Scott. So he calls my friend Scott. And I don't hear much about it, and I figure this guy's never going to show up on my doorstep again. But about a week later, I get an email from Scott that says, David, thank you so much for that referral. That turned into the biggest piece of business in my company's history. And I said, Scott, whoa, what are you talking about? I said, the guy was after a $5,000 speech. He said, yeah, the guy was after a $5,000 speech. But then I asked him, I said, why are we doing the speech? Why are we doing the meeting? He says, well, I have 6 sales guys. 2 of them are good. 2 of them are terrible. 2 of them are, mediocre. I want to get them motivated. I want them all on board. I want blah, blah, blah. And Scott says, well, I'm good, but I'm not that good. A $5,000 speech is not going to get you the outcome that you want. Here's what we need to do. We need to fire your 2 bottom feeders. We need to do a sales coaching program for the other 4. And you need my sales recruiting package so that we can get you 2 top-notch salespeople to replace the 2 that you got to get rid of. And we'll do monthly sales training, and it's going to be $60K. It's going to be $5,000 a month contract for 12 months, and I'll do your speech for free. So he didn't sell what the client was asking for, which is a $5,000 speech. He negotiated up, and he solved the client's problem. So a $5,000 speech could be considered a commodity, whereas a $60,000 sales improvement, sales coaching, sales training, sales retention, and sales recruiting program is a problem-solving initiative. It's a problem-solving sale. So please don't take the word negotiating for negotiating down. Sometimes the best negotiating that you will ever do is negotiating up. Negotiating up is the key. Negotiating up is the key. All right, let's see. Dan has a question. With most people, and I got windows on top of windows here. I apologize. Here we go. With most people working from home, it's difficult to get in touch with people that we used to get directed to from the receptionist, or if I received a referral or lead, but only to the name and company with no call info. So great question, Dan. This goes back to what we talked about in the first third of today's training, that you can't be reliant on any single channel to reach a prospect. We don't always start with a call. We don't always start with an email. We don't always start with LinkedIn. We don't always start with Facebook. So there are ways to find a prospect's contact info, email address, etc. But if you're finding it difficult to isolate kind of who they are and where, what their actual contact info is, try a different channel. So you're going to try a different channel. If you tried phone, try email. You try email, you're going to try LinkedIn. You tried LinkedIn, you're going to try Facebook. If they're not on Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever, then you can call you can figure out sometimes based on the email formula of the company what their email address is likely to be. The one that doesn't bounce is the one that gets through. So this is kind of a little bit of an old school, I always got to call them. I always got to email them first. If you can, great. But you know what? It's going to be other channels, because what we talk about in high fee sales, which I hope your application is already in at highfeesales.com, is a multi-touch, multi-method outreach campaign. So you're not relying on any one channel. And then here's the other thing, by the way, which is also very important. When you email someone 17 times and they don't reply, chances are good they're not an email person. If you find them on LinkedIn, message them there, find them on Facebook, message them there, find their direct cell number and text them, whatever other channels you use, the channel that they respond in is probably the channel they prefer. So remember, it's buying facilitation. We're not trying to force fit, oh, I love the phone, I call everybody. Well, maybe they hate the phone. Or I love email, I email everybody first. Well, maybe they hate email. Maybe the email is not even getting through. Maybe the email has a firewall or an assistant or who knows what. So you never know what's really going on until you do a multi-touch, multi-method campaign. Now I'm going to go really old school on you, Dan. What if you took out a piece of letterhead? What if you wrote an executive to executive handwritten note, folded it up, put it into an envelope, hand addressed it, stamped it, and put it in the mail? Holy smokes. We get dozens of pieces of junk mail. I don't think we get a real letter in the mail any more than once or twice a month. So if you want to stand out, they've got 500 emails, they've got 60 voicemails, they've got 30 things in their LinkedIn inbox, but you're the only handwritten letter they received that month. Do you think they're going to get back to you? If your message is on point, if your offer is relevant, if you've done your homework, if you've followed the intelligent prospecting methodology that we've talked about, the answer is yes. So again, I think this reliance on a single mode or a single method is hurting a lot of people. It's hurting a lot of people. All right. And Tim Prentice, I think we answered your question as well. Do I need to call a prospect before sending the first email? So again, the answer is no. Right? That people respond in the channel that they prefer. So if we don't know, then we need to try that multi-touch, multi-channel approach. All right. Let's see. Amanda says, I've started a ministry and speak to churches who have limited spending ability. Never been one to negotiate, having sold in corporate for a long time. Thoughts on how to handle selling to organizations who have a limited budget. I'm not doing this for the money necessarily, but don't want to diminish my value either. So I think there, Amanda, it's funny. Whenever a client, it could be a religious organization, could be a nonprofit, it could be a small company, whenever they say we don't have money, they simply didn't complete the sentence. And the sentence, and again, no disrespect to you or to what you sell, but they didn't complete the sentence because the sentence is, we don't have money for you, or we don't have money for this. So I think it may be a messaging problem, a positioning problem, or an offer problem. And again, when you apply for the high fee sales program at highfeesales.com, that is one of the first things we're going to look at, is what is the outcome that you're selling? For example, is it a nice to have? Is it a have to have? Is it something that solves an urgent, pervasive, important problem for them? Or is it something that's more of an optional sort of, well, maybe someday we'll get around to this? So the mantra being solve bigger problems, get bigger checks is in full play when you're getting that price objection. So, people say, oh, churches don't have money. Nonprofits don't have money. These sort of, service organizations don't have money. Number one, that could be a story that you're telling yourself. And there are some websites where you can actually pull up the tax returns of every nonprofit and every tax exempt organization, because that is public information. When I tell clients to do this, they are amazed. They're trying to sell something for $10,000 or $20,000, and this organization that claims poverty has a $12 million budget or a $15 million budget or a $50 million budget. So nonprofit doesn't mean non-money. My guess is that it is an urgency issue, a positioning issue, or a messaging issue of what do they get when they hire Amanda? What do they get when they hire Amanda? And we can work on that in the high fee sales program. We can at least talk about it on your decision call when you book a chat at highfeesales.com. Highfeesales.com is the URL. All right, let me pop back into my various windows that are flying by. If you did actually type a question earlier and it was flying by so fast and furious, feel free to retype it again. I probably missed it, or if you have a new question, either a thorny sales situation that you're working on right now, or any question about today's training, any of the methods and teaching and training and value bombs, truth bombs rather, that we talked about, feel free to pop that in the chat. And again, I apologize if I missed your question earlier. They were flying by fast and furious here. I want to get to everyone's question to make sure that everyone has their question answered. And where am I going? Oop, I don't want to go there. I want to go back to my slides. Hang on one sec. We started a little screen sharing palooza in the wrong direction. There we go. There we go. All right. Wow. This keeps happening. Webinar disaster. Webinar disaster happening right here in front of our eyes. All right, there we go. We're just going to leave that. We're going to leave that frozen. I'm happy to hang out here for another 5 minutes. No problemo. Another question, how do we reach the real end user? What a great question. So in a sales context, and we talk about this a lot actually in the high fee sales program, I want you to think as if you're selling dog food. When you sell dog food, no matter how delicious and juicy and tasty and fantastic the dog food is, dogs are not the people who buy the dog food. So dogs don't have pants, dogs don't have wallets, dogs don't have credit cards. When we are selling dog food, we sell it to the dog owner. So think about it from a standpoint of who buys corporate training. It's not the end user, it's the leader or the manager of that department who buys the training, right? If we're selling sales training, for example, salespeople typically don't buy sales training. Sales managers and VPs of sales buy the sales training for the frontline salespeople. So part of this is not about how do I get to the end user, which is the dog in my analogy, but it's how do I get to the actual dog owner? So what is the messaging layer that the management level, right? Not about, hey, I've got great training, you'll love it, you'll get a lot of value from it, but your people will get outcome 1, result 2, and destination 3. You're no longer going to have these headaches when you're managing your team, leading your team, no matter what the topic is, right? Strategy, innovation, presentation skills, communication skills, PR, health, wellness, career, finance, all the great things that everyone here does. You don't want to have the end user message. You want to have the leadership message or the organizational message. Sometimes, Dan, the way that works is simply having a double value prop or a double set of bullets, right? So typically, when organizations work with us, Organizations get outcome, 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 and that's at the organizational level. When the participants, right, when you send people to our training or coaching or consulting, the participants get, and it's a second set of bullets. So I have a number of clients that have this kind of double value prop or double layer of messaging. One is for the buyer of that professional service, the consulting, the training, the workshops, the seminars, etc. And the other is for the consumer of it. So almost always you don't really want to reach the end user. You want to reach who controls the budget for that end user or who owns that problem in that company. Because when you find the person who truly owns that problem, you're going to find the person that has the budget to solve that problem. So I think targeting the end user or the frontline folks is a mistake that a lot of people make, that you're looking for love in all the wrong places, because end users typically don't buy in a corporate setting. Now, an individual setting or a solopreneur entrepreneur setting, it's completely different, right? There, the buyer is the same as the client. In a corporate setting, more times than not, the buyer is separate from or different from the end user client who's going to experience your training, your seminar, your workshop, your coaching, whatever it is that you sell. So let me have a quick look at the calendar, and I'll see if someone took the spots today, and we might have taken some spots here today. Yes, awesome. So I'm talking to Carol, I'm talking to Dwayne. That's totally fantastic. Tomorrow, still open. Next day, still open. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait to talk with you. We're going to leave it here for today. Thank you, everyone. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great to speak with you. And we will see you next time. Thank you, team.